Hi everyone, my name is Katy Massey and I studied at the University of Birmingham from 2006 to 2011. I studied a BA in modern languages and I chose to study German and Italian. And I then went on to specialise working in the education sector and then furthermore into girls' rights and gender equality. So I am now a consultant in girls' rights and human rights, and I do that both as an independent consultant for myself, and I work for various charities and NGOs as well. But what we know is that there is no country in the world that has achieved gender equality. So there's much work to be done, and it's something that needs effort, consistent effort and time and consideration from everyone, not just women, and I think sometimes International Women's Day comes around and I see, on my social networks, I see lots of women sharing, commemorating the amazing women in their lives, what they're doing for the world, which is wonderful. But I sometimes think, okay, what are we actually achieving with what systemic change is happening with that kind of conversation, and actually who needs to be in this conversation. And there are some incredible organizations both in the UK and globally, but in the UK working with boys and men around gender equality and male violence, because that really is where the work needs to be equally as focused. I think we know that in the charity sector in the UK, 2/3 of the workforce are women. But then when you break that down, the majority of kind of leadership roles are held predominantly by men. And so it's normally the lower paid roles that are held by women. So the kind of admin and those kinds of things. So, there's gender pay gap is significant in the UK as well. And so I think International Women's Day really has value in, us not forgetting that this fight is ongoing, it's daily. And, some of us are fighting it daily in the work that we're doing and the voluntary work we're doing, or even just being a woman. We know what it's like, to kind of live in the patriarchy. But yeah, that's what I would really love is that, the people, the organizations who are working with boys and men to be supported in the work that they're doing. So for us to raise money and awareness and capacity, and for people to go and really get behind what they're doing, and have these difficult conversations. It's so easy for us to turn on the news and see the impact of male violence on women's lives every day. And we're so used to it now as women that we kind of just gloss over it and go, yeah, okay, we know those are the risks. We know that's what it's like out there. And so every year when, whether it's International Women's Day or International Day of the Girl, when they come round, it can be challenging to recognise, have we actually made much progress since last year? Like, what has changed and what's got worse? And we know that the pandemic globally set women's rights, girls and women's rights back. So it's now predicted to take anywhere up to 300 years for us to achieve global gender equality because of the impact of the pandemic. We also know that in any humanitarian crisis, girls and women's rights are the first thing to be impacted and to normally disappear. So gender inequality exists in all of the systems and structures that are meant to protect us as well. And so, and that's something that we know is very prevalent right now in the news. So that's the other fight for us as well, is, well, not only are we trying to fight the inequality that's happening out there, but the inequality that's happening within the system that we are meant to be able to go to ask for advice or protection or support. It's equally as rife there. So, what do we do? And I think that's where, if anyone is considering a way to get involved or to volunteer, looking at campaigns and getting involved in campaigning that is an amazing way to change the world is to look at how have people changed the law in the UK. It's predominantly through protests and campaigning. And so get yourself involved in, you know, find the thing that makes you angry, whether that's male violence or you know, conditions in hospitals or whatever it is, and say, right, that's the thing I'm gonna go and stand on a picket line for, or I'm gonna go and take a placard and march around. Yeah, just get yourself involved in that.